Hi guys, Mama Kelly here. If you're new to my channel, thank you for joining me. I'm Mama Kelly, mom to Samantha Joe, YouTuber, and much larger than myself. It was about, I don't know, almost a year, little less than a year that I started this channel, and I'm very excited to say that I've hit 25,000 followers, and that's nothing compared to like what Samantha Joe has. But for this old lady who is from the middle of BFE, Wisconsin, little bitty town of 1,000, it means a lot. And the reason it means so much to me, before we get into today's video, is that I do struggle with depression and anxiety and some other things, and reading your messages, how kind you guys are to me, it warms my heart, and it gives me a reason to be here, to keep struggling, you know, day by day. I have a lot of health issues which cause pain and weakness and fatigue, and reading your messages just warms my heart and it makes me smile. And so I really would appreciate it that if you do like the video you're about to see, that you leave me a message. I for sure go through and just acknowledge that I've read each one, and I will reply to some of them. But if I don't reply to yours, it's not because I didn't read it or think it was, you know, a great message. It's just because I didn't, I don't know, I just didn't. Okay, so what else? Oh, last week I put out on Instagram. My Instagram is Momma _ Kelly Joe, MOMMA _ KELLYJO. Okay, so you got to check that out if you're already not following me on there. Okay, so I had put out like, hey, what are some video ideas? And you guys really came through for me. I went through them all, and then I kind of like checked the ones that had the most interest, and surprisingly, one of the ones that like a lot of people asked about in different ways was, tell us about, you know, like how you became Mama Kelly. How did you morph from little baby, you know, out of the womb to Mama Kelly? And, or some of you might have said, like, tell us about your childhood or that kind of thing. So I thought I would try to, I'm going to try to limit this to about 15-20 minutes. If we don't get through to today, like, because we're going to start when I was just a little wee baby. If we don't get through it, then what we'll do is we'll do a part 2. So this could be a series, the Mama Kelly series, okay? All right. Please note my new Garfield plaque that Samantha Joe got me for Christmas. I love it very much. Welcome, fellow lasagna lovers. Yes, I do love lasagna. I love all food. I'm on a diet right now though, and it's working. I'm losing weight, but I have to just keep telling myself this is what I do. Okay, I get off track a lot too, so I'm just warning you. This is what I've been doing for my diet. First, I've been walking on the treadmill, which is good. But I sit there, and when I go to get something to eat or think about eating, I'm like, are you really hungry? Or are you just going to get something to eat because you are bored or you have nothing else to do right now? Like, only eat if you're really truly hungry. And so far it's been working. I have had a lot of times where I've had to say, no, Kelly, you're just wanting something to do. And so I would be on the way to the fridge, and I threw out all the snack foods that I could find. And you know, it's not that I'm just, you know, just like limiting myself to anything good. I'm just watching my calorie intake, and hopefully then I'll just shed some pounds. I've gained like 30 pounds in the last year. And I just want to get that off for sure. So I'll get it done. All I gotta do is put my mind to it. I'll get it done. All right, so let's talk about when I was a wee baby. I was born in Wisconsin. I have an older sister who you guys might have seen in some of my other videos. Her name is Tracy. She lives in Kendallville, Indiana. And then I have a brother who lives in Chapin, South Carolina. With that, I have, my sister is not married. I do have a nephew from her, and his name is Brennan, and he's also my godchild, and he just graduated from Ball State University, and he currently works at like I think it's a TV station. He does like editing and stuff. It's kind of ironic. So if I ever did blow up, which I doubt that would ever happen, but if I did, I think I might have to call on him to, like, it'll have to be Momma Kelly and something else, not Momma Kelly Unedited anymore. Because if I get him to edit, then that would be false advertising. Anyways, my brother Jeff has a daughter and a son. Will is my godson, and Brooke she might have been in some of my videos, I can't remember, but that's my niece. And yeah, so I think they either live, I don't know where Will lives, but it's South Carolina somewhere. And then my brother's married to Christine. And yeah, so that's it. That's my family. That's the whole shebang. Other than my kids, who I have 3 daughters. I guess 2, one walked out when she was 18, so didn't want to be part of the family anymore. So I guess I'll say I have 2 daughters, Samantha Jo, which a lot of you guys know because you came to my channel from her channel, and Megan. And Samantha is dating Gerald, and Megan is married to Anthony and has, right now, they have a bun in the oven. Megan's pregnant, due in April, and I have my grandson, Adam, from them. And I want to mention I have another grandson from my daughter that walked out, and his name is Brantley, and he is super cute. I got to meet him this past summer, and it just made my heart so happy. Okay, so born in Green Bay. I lived in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Lived here until I was in 2nd grade, or going into 2nd grade, and my dad got transferred for a job. So we moved to Lexington, South Carolina. I actually lived in a little, like, I don't know, now Lexington's huge. When I lived there, it was tiny, but like a suburb of that called Red Bank or Red Banks. Anyway, who cares? I think I'm Outer Banks. Yeah, but it's not. It's Red Bank. Okay, I could be wrong. Anyway, so we went. We lived there. Had a great childhood. Let's see, a little bit about myself at that time. I was always the chubby kid. Yeah, Winston likes to sit on my shoulders, so he's just gonna be in the video. Yeah, say hi, Winston. He's tired. Oliver's eating. All right, so I was always the chubby kid. Didn't give a crap about what people thought of me. You know, I wore what I wanted to wear. I loved Garfield. I still do. I would wear, my mom would like hand sew me like wacky Garfield shorts and stuff, and I'd wear them. I didn't care. You know, when it's just different. We didn't have phones and all that stuff, so it was just like we played outside. I liked to fish. There was a pond across the street that I would fish in. We lived out in the country. We had a swimming pool. Let's see. I played in the orchestra. I played the violin. Did really well in school. Always had straight A's for the most part. If I got a B, I was like so mad at myself. Did that mainly, I think, to please my parents. I had the best mother ever. My dad was a dad. And yeah, I just didn't have the relationship with him that I had with my mom. My sister was close with my dad. I don't know, I just never was. I don't know, I was the youngest, so who knows. But anyway, we grew up, we were happy. I played, when we moved, actually, my parents said, you know, you get to pick one thing that you get for moving, because they knew I wasn't so upset about it, but like my sister and brother were older than me, And so they were upset about moving to South Carolina. So I don't know what they got, but I wanted to play softball. I was already a little tomboy jock, little part, gay, kind of. Not that if you play softball you're gay by any chance, but I fit that stereotype that a lot of softball players are. And anyway, I loved softball. I found out that I was pretty good at it. I had never played before. I just knew I wanted to play it. And so I got put on a little, like the little towns have like little leagues, so I was on Consumer Feed and Seed, and I played, and like I said, I found out I was pretty good. I played third base. Then when I got a little bit older, like I said, in middle school, I was in the orchestra, National Honor Society, did all that stuff, was really smart. And what else about middle school? Oh, I started to kind of thin out a little bit, like become, more aware of myself. I still was much bigger than a lot of the girls down there. There's I didn't care, so I just ate what I wanted to eat. But, when I got a little older, that changed. But, yeah, so I'm trying to think. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I started to play volleyball because they had middle school volleyball. So I played volleyball and I played softball still. And part of the softball, as I got into it more, there was all-star teams which would play in tournaments and stuff. And then I was on a traveling team. We went to Canada once from South Carolina, and we went to a bunch of different places and played. And kind of like club, I guess. It's kind of like club volleyball or softball today, or club volleyball. They have all that stuff. So it was kind of like that, but it just wasn't called that back then. So, all right, so we're up to there. This is where things get weird, okay? Or difficult, I should say, or more interesting. My dad cheated on my mom, and my parents are gonna get divorced. So we're living in South Carolina. We have this perfect little life. Now things have changed, okay? Boom, bam, things happen. So my mom is devastated, because she's a housewife, right? My dad never wanted her to work, so she's a housewife. So he says, I'm leaving. I'm going, I'm with somebody else. I'm leaving. And we just never saw it coming. It was like a big slap in the face. I guess that's how it usually is. So my mom decides that she wants to move back to Wisconsin. My dad also was changing jobs at that point, and we thought we were all just going to move back to Wisconsin. My mom was willing to forgive him and work it out and whatever. So my dad moved back first, and we were supposed to sell the house and then follow. And some of that happened. My dad did go back first. What we didn't know at the time was that his girlfriend uprooted and moved there too. So there was no getting back together for my parents. So my mom, we were already committed to moving back to Wisconsin. I mean, the moving truck, everything. So we moved back to Wisconsin. We moved into a little duplex. It was a big change from the big house that we had, or I shouldn't say big house, but a decent size, just a ranch house. And we moved, it was my sister, my mom, and I. And my brother stayed in South Carolina and played football for, why am I, no, not Furman. I can't understand why I don't remember where he went to college. Random. I'm going to remember it. Newberry. Yeah. I don't know. I had a brain fart there for a minute there. So he stayed, and he didn't have to, he did his thing and went to college and played football. And we went there. I started playing volleyball. Hey, I'm trying to do a video. we played, or I started playing volleyball as soon as I got here, and I met some people, some of the people that I had known from when I lived here, you know, up through before second grade. I kind of tried to fit back in with their groups, and it was kind of hard because, you know, you develop those groups through your teen years, and I wasn't there like through middle school and that kind of thing. So they kind of had their tight knit groups. But I had a little boyfriend right away, and I was kind of getting settled in. And then one day I get picked up from school, and I'm told to clean up my locker, and we're moving because my mom didn't want to be around my dad and his new girlfriend. So I don't know if there's other reasons behind it other than that. My sister's thrilled because she's a senior, right? So she got uprooted as a senior. Can you imagine that? That was just like devastating for her. So she was like, let's get in the car and book it on back down there. So that's what we did. And we, again, rented just a little 2-bedroom place. My sister and I shared rooms. My mom was in a really bad place. She lost tons of weight. She was just devastated. My dad was the love of her life. She never saw it coming. She felt like she had disappointed everybody and like that kind of thing. And so my sister really raised me for that next year. My mom, who hadn't worked, she ended up getting a nanny kind of job, and then she cleaned their house. And but she spent a lot of time, she was just really depressed, let's say that. So at the end, when my sister graduated, my mom decided she still wanted to go back to Wisconsin. So now I just did my freshman year in South Carolina. I went to Lexington High School, and I'm now being told now I have to move again. And I had, now I'm like thinner, and I'm kind of getting into boys and girls. And I'm like, okay, we're moving. So we moved. This is where things fall to shit even worse. We moved back to Wisconsin, rent a little duplex right next to the high school. And I, again, joined volleyball. And I played basketball, and I played softball. But the bad news is I was abused by my volleyball coach. It started shortly after I returned. She saw me coming, like, as far as she could tell my life wasn't fantastic right then, you know, and that my parents weren't around a lot. And my mom only, not to her fault, but she had gotten a full-time job at Sam's Club and was working there to support us, and she did everything she could to do that. And my sister moved back with us. She was busy working too, and I, like I said, was rebelling in every which way possible. So the fact that I had this older woman interested in me, I thought that I was special, that it was love, and I didn't even think twice about the fact that it was disgusting and it was wrong, and that an older person shouldn't be paying that much attention to you in that way. Okay, so long story short, I got really depressed. I quit. I kind of didn't make a lot of friends because, again, I'm a sophomore, and I had a couple really close friends, and that was it. I had a boyfriend, Chad, had some girlfriends, not at the same time. Well, maybe a couple times at the same time. Oops. But yeah, so I hung around a lot with older people, like people from the local college, and I drank a lot to hide my feelings and to my sadness and all that stuff. I started doing shitty in school because I didn't care what my parents thought anymore. I was just kind of rebelling, I guess. And so that was Sassy Kelly. You don't want to do that. That's not what you want to do. If you have feelings that you're depressed like that, you should, you know, go to a therapist or whatever. So I ended up trying to take my life when I was like 16, I think, 16 or 17. I had already struggled with an eating disorder because again, I was prone to being heavier set, and I wanted to be this thin little thing. So I was bulimic for quite a few years, and after I had tried to end my life, I obviously got some very serious help. Thank goodness. I did inpatient, and when they were asking me kind of what was up, obviously there was these big family issues, but there was also this issue with the person that had abused me, and me starting to realize that as soon as I went into that clinic, this person like reached out to me and was like, you promised not to say anything, like whatever, like, and then it started to click, at number one, I'm getting older. Number two, I'm like, oh, like, hey, this person, now she wants me to save her ass kind of thing. So yeah, that was hard. I had a really good friend that helped save me during that time. And well, I shouldn't say that. She did save me because she told that I had taken too many pills. And her name is Stephanie, and she's wonderful. I got to go visit her. I don't know, it's probably been like 5 years now. She lives out in Oregon. I don't know, tell me how it's said. So yeah, anyway, so that's it. So I got out of that. My last year of school was just hell. Like, people thought I was weird and, different. And my teachers knew I was smart. Like, they'd give me special projects to do and stuff. And they're like, wondered why I kept getting you're not working up to your potential, duh. So I didn't really care though. So, I was doing stuff like I tried to skip school one day. So they, obviously my mom didn't call in. So I had like written a note that I had a doctor's appointment or something. And, oh no, I remember I did. I took an old note that my mom had wrote, and I cut the top off where it said like the reason or the date. I think that it had the date on there, and I just turned it in. And yeah, I got busted. I can't remember the exact ins and outs of it, but I was bad. And so anyway, they called my mom, and my mom's like, no, she went to school today. And I got in trouble. I think I got grounded or something, but I didn't care. And my mom was like the best. She's like, Kelly, why didn't you just tell me you didn't want to go to school and you were going to go to the mall? And then I would have known what to say when they called me. So, took two things out of that. As a parent, you got to let your kids be kids, but obviously, I'm not saying or condoning like, hey, let your kids skip school, but let your kids be a teenager. The more you stifle them, the more they're going to rebel. Yeah, and my mom knew I was already going through a bunch of shit, so she like let me off, I guess, with a slap on the wrist. It was sassy. But I was sassy in a lot of ways. But this woman that abused me before, she wouldn't even hardly talk to me after I got out of the hospital, the inpatient facility. She had gotten herself a lawyer, and she decided that, hey, the lawyer, I'm sure, told her, like, hey, you need to stop this. And of course, she then told me that it didn't happen. It was all in my head, like whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, right, okay. So got recruited quite a few places actually for softball out of high school, and I looked at going to college as, oh my God, I get to escape. So went to college. I had. Let's see, I did really well in softball my first year. I played, like, I was like on the practice team for their basketball team. I was sucked at basketball. I don't know why I was even on their practice team. Probably because the college that I picked was like a smaller college, and it was a private college. I didn't want to go out of state because my mom at this point is starting to develop a lot of health issues, and she had a lot of autoimmune issues, and she was going to need a liver transplant, and I didn't want to like go too far away. So I went to a private school like 2.5 hours away. and it was called Carroll College, and now it's called Carroll University. But I met good people. I just never, again, was 100% there. I was rebelling. I worked a lot because I had to pay my own way, and I had a car payment and stuff like that. And to no fault of my mom, because she, just didn't have the extra money. And my dad, yeah, his answer was to get me a third job. So at a factory down there where he knew somebody, that, a different engineer or something. So yeah, my grades sucked in college. I didn't put any effort into it whatsoever. I hurt a lot of people because I was promiscuous, and I didn't care like if they were with somebody or not. I just was trying to find, I guess, I had a lot of love from my mom and my sister and stuff like that, but I was trying to find, I don't know, my person, whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I went through 4 years of college, and then I had gotten scholarships and stuff, academic scholarships and sports scholarships, but they didn't cover everything because it was a private school. It was really expensive. So I ended up having school loans. So that's when I went into the Army National Guard, and I went in and I took the little ASVAB test that you take, and they presented me with some jobs, and I didn't know that depending on what job you took is how long you'd be in training after basic training before you're able to come home, because that was my plan, was to come back home, go back to college and finish up some more or take some different courses, because they would be paying for it at that point, and they were willing to pay off most of my student loans if I took this one job. Well, this one job was an avionics mechanic, which I had no real interest in. So I had decided when I went into the Army that I was going to put 100% into myself, and that I was gonna give the Army all that I had to give. And the Army, if you're ever lost, it's not a bad thing. It really taught me, well, first of all, it taught me that a lot happens after 4 a.m. or at 4 a.m. in the morning. Like, I hadn't seen 4 a.m. in years. Like, 9 was my time to get up, if that. So, and it teaches you what you can, physically and mentally do if you really put 100% into it. And it also teaches you to deal with other people, because there's so many different people there from different walks of life. Like, I was a person from college. There was a lot of, there was 17-year-olds that were there, 18-year-olds, older people. I went in at a higher rank because I had been in college, but yeah, so they make you like a squad leader, that kind of stuff. But I almost didn't graduate basic training because I had gotten really sick, and I got put in the hospital while I was there. But I did, and then I went to training in Fort Eustis, Virginia. Oh, basic training was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, which was right in my neck of the woods. Like, my brother, once I was able to have visitors, my brother and them were able to come visit me. So that was kind of nice. And then my family did come for my graduation. And so then I went to Virginia, and in my orientation class is where I met my husband. He had told me that he was going through a divorce, and that it was almost done and whatever. And so him and I started a relationship. I had told him about my past. I told him that I had been with women before, and that he was the first guy that I, was going to be with sexually. And he was, fine with that. Of course he was fine with that. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want someone who's been around? But I did make it clear that I had been with quite a few women. And so, yeah. I don't know, that's why I say I'm bisexual, but I don't really think I might be pansexual. Like, I just feel like you meet somebody and you fall in love with a person, not with the sex of that person or how they identify. Now, So anyway, that was it. And then he graduated before me. He went on to some different training. We almost broke up because I found out that he wasn't, in fact, almost divorced. I went after him hard, and so he came back to me, and I ended up getting pregnant with Samantha. And then I ended up moving back to South Carolina because that's where he got stationed, and we started living together there on base. We got married. It was me and him and my brother as a witness, and right shortly after, well, actually before that, we had gotten custody of his 2 kids because they had been living with their mother that allowed a man to sexually abuse my oldest daughter, the one that ran away. She had a lot of demons. So, and we don't know if he molested I think she was like 18 months, which was, we don't know because she couldn't talk. But, and this woman, his ex-wife, decided to pick him over her kids. She got pregnant right away. She was pregnant at the same time I was with Samantha with a new daughter. So that's it. We lived there. I finally decided I was moving back to Wisconsin. He followed me. I got a job as a customer service representative at Schneider National Trucking. Worked there for a while, moved my way up. Then we moved. My husband was a sales rep for a medical company, and then he ended up having to move. So we moved. That's kind of how we ended up in this little town that we're in now, or that I'm in now, in the middle of Wisconsin. And we bought the house and the land, and yeah, so I went from one trucking company to a different trucking company here in central Wisconsin. Then I went to Foot Locker for a while, was a manager there, and then I ended up going and becoming a co-manager at a Walmart in Marshfield, Wisconsin. So that is when I got sick, started having health problems really bad, kind of some similar to my mom. And I'm sure you guys didn't hear me mention, but my mom had, I don't want to talk about it because I'll get emotional, but she had a liver transplant that went well. She had failing kidneys because of the anti-rejection meds, and so she ended up needing a kidney transplant. So she got called for her kidney transplant, had the transplant. They nicked her bowel during surgery. They didn't catch it fast enough, and long story short, she died from sepsis. My world was turned upside down. At that time, we were seeing her on a daily basis. We lived very close to her. I was at a point in my life where I was able to start taking care of her. We helped her get a car that was not breaking down every 2 minutes. We did everything with her, and she'd help me babysit the girls sometimes so I could get some sleep. And yeah, so anyway, back to me. I ended up having autoimmune issues, just like my mom, and I deal with a lot of pain on a daily basis. I don't show it. I used to show it, but I've learned that people hear, they hear that you're in pain, but they can't do anything about it. So why for me then should I sit and talk about it constantly? Because all it's going to do is make them feel bad because they can't help me, and that's the last thing I want to do is to make people feel bad. So I go through treatments, I get infusions, I have no immune system really. That's another big thing. I have to get IVIG it's 2 treatments once a month. or I should say twice a month, technically. And that helps me give all you healthy people that give plasma. It helps me with my immune system. It only lasts for a short time. Like I said, I have to go every month to get it done. But yeah, so I deal with that. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have lupus. I have Raynaud syndrome, which is where your hand, it's just the cold is hard on you. Your hands and lips. Sometimes if you guys see, my lips are a little blue, or my hands and whatever, my toes sometimes get totally blue. That's from that. And I have a lot of mental health issues still to this day. I think I'm getting somewhere with dealing with my PTSD from being abused when I was younger. That's taken a lot of time. I deal with depression on a daily basis and anxiety, and a lot of the depression is because I can't work anymore. I'm on disability, and I wish in my head like I could do it, and I've tried, and I know that it's okay for like a week or two, and then my body starts to shut down and I get sick, and sometimes I get infections really easy. So some of those infections have been really bad, or they've spread, and yeah, it's not good. I'm in the hospital a lot, but knock on wood, since I've been getting these IVIG infusions, my time in the hospital has become a lot less. So married 23 years, have wonderful grown children, and yeah, that's it. That's my story. That was really long. Oh my goodness, you guys, half you guys aren't even here anymore, but if you are here, you're a trooper, and I just appreciate you, and I hope you guys realize how much of a difference you make in my life, and the world's a better place with you in it. And if you want to share that message, I think, yeah, I know that they're still selling that merch on Fanjoy under Samantha Joe's name. So, check that out. You can wear that sweatshirt into someplace. And every time I wear mine, I have both of them, the yellow and the black, and the t-shirt. And whenever I wear it, every time at least one person will be like, hey, like they might even just look at you and smile, or they'll like point it out and be like, hey, I love your shirt. And it's like, you never know what somebody's going through. And maybe just hearing that the world's a better place with you in it, maybe that's what they needed to get through the day. And so just spread kindness, be good to each other, and I will get you that Q&A video like as soon as I get rid of this long. Like, this is like a documentary. I mean, this is like the life in whatever of Momma Kelly. So, I forgot. I love Nike. How could I forget that? Garfield and Nike and Diet Coke. Those are the 3 things you need to know about me. Okay? All right. See you guys later.